All right. How do you start today's show? No, I howl. Jasmine's sitting there kind of laughing. Like, what do you say? Hey, guys, Monday morning. Well, let me give you a weekend update. Quite the weekend update. Kind of probably the most interesting weekend update ever. And the interesting thing about this weekend update is producer Jim, at least on the radio show, is not going to have to run the let's take a brief interlude into Dan's personal life, because my personal life is no longer personal. Folks, I'm sure by now you've heard the news. Wait, do I have it? Oh, no, I already took it. Sorry. Someone gave me the man card, gave me like an actual man card one day. Like it's a little, looks like a credit card, kind of a joke, obviously. So let me just turn that in right now because this may be a little bit emotional, and let me apologize in advance. I was home last night, and I'm sitting there. I was watching a show. I don't even know what I was watching. Food That Built America or something like that. And I was falling asleep because it had been a really long day. Now you know why. And some of you kind of understand why the show had a different tone over the last couple of weeks. And I got a call from the president, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I obviously keep the contents of it between us, but I think you get the gist about what it was about. And kind of broke down a bit because it was, this is now real. So President, Attorney General Bondi, and now Director, gosh, that sounds good to say, FBI Director Akash Patel offered this role, a role I expressed an interest in. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you, you see, it's hard for me. I'm going to accept the role proudly as the Deputy Director, the number 2 spot at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Folks, it's a lot to walk away from. I will tell you everything what happened within reason, and then I got a show to do, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with the show. So it's going to be a pretty wild ride today. Man, do we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to play for you in the beginning, too, a speech I gave that someone sent to me from 11 years ago. And you'll see why I decided to make this decision. So a lot to do today. Thank you so much for kind of a big audience here right away out of the chute. So thank you very much. I love you guys. And Bongino Army out there, I hope you understand. I got a couple of negative comments. Dan, you should have let us know. I hope you understand about this. This is not you do not ever get ahead of the President of the United States, the Attorney General, and the Director of the FBI. You don't do that. Not when you take positions like that. It's not the right thing to do. So now you understand. Little bell for me. I want to play this for you first because the Bongino Army out there and all of our supporters, you guys and ladies out there have been amazing. And one of you sent this to me, and a friend of mine sent it to me as well. And I gave this speech at the Heritage Foundation 11 years ago. And it was about good people stepping up. Not just me. It's not about me. It's about a bigger vision. I want you to listen. It's about a minute and a half of it, but it's worth your time. Check this out.
We can fix it, though, folks. And I think it's going to take some good, passionate people going forward. And I think it's going to take more people to speak out. I think right now there's a crisis of internal leadership. I think people during a recession are afraid to leave. But I speak to people all the time on my cell phone, on the inside, who are just as frustrated as I am, whether from the military or anywhere else. And I think it's going to take just a tidal wave of people speaking out to really create some effective change.
This is really hard for me, folks. I hope you understand. We spent a long time building this. Me, my wife, Guy, Michael, Justin, Jasmine, Evita. My wife and I started doing this show, and it started in a basement. It was me, Joe, and Paula. That was it. We started doing the show, and Paula was putting together show clips for me. We never expected it to become this massive live stream and podcast and radio show. We never expected it. I knew you guys were going to be there for us. So to walk away from it, yeah, it's not easy. And forget like money and all that other crap. That doesn't gives a damn about any of that stuff. We'll figure that out later. But I'm not going to tell you as an audience what's been one of our just bedrock principles of this Bongino army out there and this people that the massive audience we've had. What's one of the bedrock principles, right? The do matters. We've talked about the do. You can talk all you want. I tell you all the time, I don't feel like I have a real job. I don't feel like, I feel like you guys are the ones out there getting your hands dirty. The truckers, the cops, the pilots, the architects, the men and women in our military. I appreciate everything, but if the do matters, I'm not going to sit here as a commentator, talking head, whatever dopey title we have. I'm not going to sit here and tell you the do matters and then sit on my ass when an opportunity comes to do the right thing and not only talk about everything we wanted to change, but actually change it. There are a lot of people listening today, and I hope you understand that. I want to address something too. I know, New York Times and others, of course, are all of the attack pieces start already, which is fascinating from these two who were on the wrong side of the truth when it came to the collusion hoax and others. I don't think they understand what it's like to commit to service, not partisan service, but service. I get it if you are a political opponent of mine that has been involved with proudly celebrating a weaponized justice system, how you don't understand how a guy like me who discusses partisan content in an opinion show can go and do a unquestionably nonpartisan job. I'm going to ask you a simple question. Have you seen what I did before I came here? I'm committed to service. People play different roles in their lives. People are dads. People are soccer coaches. People are cops and military officers and military enlisted people. People are carpenters. People are plumbers. We play different roles in our life, and each one requires a different skill set. I've been there. I know what this is like. And it's time for me to step up. Folks, I have to thank my family first, though. Most of you know Paula. Paula's been with me a long time. Folks, we met, I don't know if you know the story. It's certainly not my autobiography today, but we met just a couple of weeks before 9/11. I mean, an actual couple of weeks, like 2 weeks before 9/11. My second date hadn't even happened with Paula, and she worked at 120 Broadway, which is the building that looks right into the World Trade Center right there. She worked for a company at the time called SIA. The 9/11 attacks happened. I had only been on one date with her. We barely knew each other, but I knew I was in love. So I called her, and she didn't answer the phone. I thought she was dead. I did. I panicked. I thought she was dead. I couldn't believe it. I said, I just met this woman. Well, it turned out we'd just been on one date, And she was actually in Nevada. Her mom lived in Centennial Hills in Nevada. Actually, Summerlin, I think, back then. And she was out in Nevada. I couldn't believe she was alive. But we met 2 weeks before the most devastating terror attack, one of them in American history. That was an event we all scarred us forever. I was an agent watching that. We've been through a lot together. We've been through the Secret Service. We've been through the president's detail. We've been through cancer. We've been through some health crises with her. We have 2 beautiful daughters, one in college and one younger one still in grammar school. We've been through 3 runs for political office. We've been through the launch of a podcast 11 years ago, and everybody laughed at us. They're not laughing now. They did. They actually laughed at us. Oh, podcast? That's cute. What happened? Can't get a real show? We lived through all of that. We spent our last $10,000 on a microphone and some mixers in the basement of our house in Maryland. Paula's always been willing to take a chance on me. Always. She said on her first date that she knew I was something special, which I didn't think I was anything special back then, but I guess she did. She's been busting her ass all weekend. Why? Because there's going to be a major transition. It's not going to be the last show, but we've only got a few more left with you. So obviously we're going to be working with a team of people to make this transition from me, political commentator Dan, to deputy director of the FBI Dan. Those are different roles, require different skills. Skills I have and have used before and I plan to use again. It's going to hurt to leave you. I'll discuss over the course of the coming days. I'll be with you for a little bit longer on radio and on my show. I will discuss exactly what's going to happen. It's not going to impact Vita or Haley's content at all. My wife has been running the business for a long time. I don't get involved with the business at all. I do the talking. But I want to ask you, who's next? Who's next? This isn't just about me, folks. The do matters. Who's next? You know, I said last week, and a couple of media critics commented, I said, we're all going to have to take it on the chin a little bit. Now do you see what I meant? I never got in this for the money or notoriety. Listen, I enjoy making money and that I can impact people's lives and that people come out and say nice things to me as much as the next guy. But if you think that's why I got involved in this, running as a Republican in deep blue Maryland, my life of activism and my time in the Secret Service, if you think I get into the Secret Service to get rich, and you don't know me and you haven't seen the government salary scale. But I am going in this clear-eyed. Vision of President Trump, Attorney General Bondi, and Director Patel. I am going to do my job to implement that vision. And I can tell you right now, we are going to try our best. Every single thing I have in me, every single strand of DNA cell in my body is going to be dedicated towards keeping this homeland safe, no matter what. No matter what, that's my job. We're going to reestablish faith in this institution. And the good people there doing their job, hitting the streets, developing sources, we'll have your back. We are going to reestablish faith in this institution. The FBI belongs to the American people. Doesn't belong to me. Doesn't belong to anyone else but the American people. But this is the honor of a lifetime, and it's a serious mission. And I plan on implementing that vision. Folks, there are a small number of people out there in the country right now dedicated to doing really bad things. It's not the overwhelming majority of Americans are patriots that love this country and love their family. They love their jobs. They go to work every day. But there are a small number of really bad people out there who are planning on really bad things, from terrorists to narco traffickers, child sex rings, gang members. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to rest easy until we find as many of you as we can. Don't sleep. No, after today. That's my mission. Folks, of course, the Constitution matters. We're going to get back to the four corners of that document that guide us all as well. And I think you know from my history of covering content here that the primacy of that is really important. You understand that? It is the one thing that dictates all the rest of your actions, and that's the Constitution. Again, regarding the show, folks, going forward, I will tell you how we're going to wind my portion of the show down. And I'm just going to leave you with this before I get to some other content. And we've got a couple more. We've got some shows for you lined up. So I actually put a show together, even though this has been harder than I thought. I didn't plan on this. I didn't plan on a lot of things. But I want you to know it is the honor of my lifetime. And I hope I'm making a plea to you all personally. I hope you're not angry or upset at me for making this decision. I knew it was the right thing to do, but there is a big cost, and I understand that. There's a chance when the mission's over that you guys all disappear and go somewhere else. I'm not going to lie to you, it's been on my mind for a long time. I hope not. I love you guys, but this is a mission I can't say no to. Sorry, guys. JL Subs. Holy moly, Batman. We're so proud of you, Dan. We love you, Dan. I love you guys too. I woke up this morning, I jumped in that cold plunge to kind of clear my head a little bit. And I got out of it. And I have to tell you, folks, this is very surreal. What an honor. What an honor. All right. Let me take a quick break. Did I melt down the Rumble chat? Thank you, guys. Michael senses I need a little emotional kind of. Hold on. Let me take a sip of water here.